What do kids spitting spitballs in class, forgetting to upgrade a certain part on your car in GTA Online, and Hubba Bubba chewing gum all have in common? That's right, a blowout. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Stark Raving Sports. My name is SRS Fico. As always, if you like this video, please consider subbing to the channel. It helps us out tremendously. You can also follow me on Twitter if you like the video. Also, if you're like me and you love listening to funny podcasts, then I just want to give a quick shout out to the boys over at Please Stop Talking. I've been binging their podcast the past couple weeks and I love it. If you head over there, tell them SRS Fico sent you. Anyways, let's do it. There's nothing worse than playing Little League Baseball and getting absolutely dusted by the other team. Trust me, I was on a baseball team for a smaller school. I know the pain. Now, imagine that same thing happening to you in front of millions of people. I'd be more upset than my stomach after a night of drinking enough alcohol to put Only Use Me Blade to shame. Let me put it this way. A 30-3 loss is a blowout in football. A 27-point loss would be a blowout in basketball. Now, imagine how big of a blowout that is in baseball. Well, I mean, it happened. I'll just say that right now. I bet you're wondering how in the world that even could have happened. The date is August 22nd, 2007. The Texas Rangers are facing the Baltimore Orioles at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. No one knew it yet, but they were about to take part in baseball history and set a record that is still in place to this day. I'm gonna do my very best to lay this game out for you, but I might fail honestly because this game is just beyond description. First, let's talk very briefly about the day before, because they had already played a game against each other. This game would be especially unpredicted because the day before, the Orioles actually took a 6-2 win over the Rangers. Now, to be fair, the Rangers did play a pretty lineup against them, so let's see how game 2 went. I mean, you already know how game 2 went, but let's get into it anyway. All right, here goes. At the top of the first inning, the Orioles put Daniel Cabrera on the mound.
There is big Daniel Cabrera out there on the mound. We'll scout him out of here, get back there right after we say that strike one call to the cat.
After 2 outs are put on the board, Michael Young hits a single to be the first on base of this game. And oh boy, it would not be the last of those for the Rangers. For this inning though, he would be the last one, which means it's time for the Orioles to come up to bat. Don't worry though, the Rangers will do a lot more than this later, I promise. Just be patient. Gotta build some tension. In the bottom of the second, with a man on second, aka Brian Roberts, Corey Patterson bloops into right field.
This ball blooped into right field, and it's down in front of Nelson Cruz.
And while it's being thrown back to first, the ball actually hits him, letting him get to second and letting Roberts score. This will be the first of only 3 runs put on the board for the Orioles this night, and the last of this inning specifically. Speaking of runs, let's give the Orioles their time to shine and break down their next 2 runs before that shine is wire brushed, coated in Ventablack, and thrown into a f***ing black hole by the Rangers. In the bottom of the third, Roberts hits the ball into right field and gets a pretty little single. An infield grounder is then bobbled, and that lets him get to second, avoiding the double play. Nick Markakis then comes up and smashes a ground rule double, putting him on second and bringing Roberts home, putting up the Orioles' second run of the night. With Markakis on second, Miguel Tejada hits a single while Markakis runs his fanny all the way home, putting up their third and final run of the night. Sorry boys, but it's about to get uglier than... Yo, mama. This all changes when at the top of the fourth, Jared Saltalamacchia steps up with...
Bird from third, Botts from second, and Murphy over there at first.
And hits a nice little line drive right up the center, bringing 2 of the boys home. The Rangers pick up 3 more runs in that same inning when Ramon Vasquez hits a ding-ding into right with David Murphy and Jared Saltalamacchia on base. That is 5 runs in 1 inning for the Rangers, baby, and we're just getting started. 5th inning is kind of cringe, no one scores anything, but in the 6th, oh baby, the Rangers go harder than me trying to get this video done by Tuesday, and they don't let the Orioles get a crumb. First person up to bat is our boy Saltalamacchia once again, and he freaking bangs one up left center, adding another homer for the Rangers. After this, the Orioles swap out Daniel Cabrera for Brian Burris. I'm sure that'll help, boys. It didn't. After a single, a walk, and another single, the bases are loaded. Like a glizzy. Now, if you look very closely, you will see the bird in his natural habitat, stepping up to smash a grand slam. This sort of behavior is very typical for the bird, and is sure to attract some female attention. This takes Texas from a 6-3 lead all the way up to a 10-3. They wouldn't let up after this either, hammering them with 5 more singles with 2 outs on them and putting up 2 more runs. The Orioles responded by yanking Brian Burris and putting Rob Bell in his place. Maybe it helped, maybe it didn't. You decide. Because the Rangers would go on to score 2 more runs before Michael Young hits a ball straight into right field, finally giving the Orioles their 3rd out. This would end the 9-run top of the 6th. In the 7th, the Orioles get a bit of a break from the headache and don't let the Rangers get any this inning. Didn't score. Sounds like me at the club. Okay. Well, moving right along to the top of the 8th, I think the last inning pissed off the Rangers because, oh boy, they demolished in this inning. They put up another 10 freaking runs this inning without letting the Orioles get any in retaliation. The first hit here is a single by David Murphy, followed by 2 walks and then 2 ribs from Frank Catalanato and Ian Kinsler. With the bases loaded, Travis Metcalf steps up and freaking bombs one into the left field stands for yet another Rangers grand slam, bringing the total score up to 20-3. Now, also let me point out that all 20 runs are completely unanswered by the Orioles. After another walk, they yank Mr. Pitcherman Rob Bell and put in Paul Shuey, basically throwing him into the Shark Tank. Once on the mound, he would manage to strike out Jason Botts, but that small win was very short-lived. Nelson Cruz hits a double. David Murphy hits a single, bringing Marlon Byrd home, and Jared Saltalamacchia hits a homer with 2 on base, bringing the final score of this inning to 24-3. Paul Shuey manages to get 2 more strikeouts to end this top of the 8th, and there is still an entire inning to go. Oh boy. Top of the 9th, the last stand. It all comes down to this. I guess. Will the Orioles take this game back? Will they come up from the gutter and pull off the most amazing comeback / victory baseball has ever seen? No, they absolutely will not do that. No shot. Sorry, but no. Another 2 walks start off this inning, followed by a Bird single. With the bases loaded, Jason Botts hits a dub into right field, handing the Rangers yet another 2 runs on a silver platter. David Murphy would be the next man to get a hit, driving in yet another run with an infield single. After Jared Saltalamacchia strikes out, the Rangers would now have 2 outs on him with 2 runners on base. I would say this hit is a make or break situation, but I think it's pretty obvious they're gonna win. But I will say that this hit is the difference between tying the record for the 4th highest scoring game ever and possibly setting the record for the highest scoring MLB game in MLB history. Let's see what he does.
Number on the board for the Rangers on that line score is 0. They've got 27 runs, but they've had 5 innings where they've had no runs. Vasquez to right field. You want to go for 30? You bet!
Even the fans are cheering now.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. The Rangers have just made MLB history as the freaking Mad Lad rockets a homer out of right field. This obviously brings the final score of this game to 30-3. Wow. The 20 unanswered runs I pointed out a minute ago are now 30 unanswered runs. That's pretty freaking epic. In my opinion. So here's the thing, and you've probably already noticed this because you're a smart little fella. You're a fart little smella. They scored 30 runs across 4 innings. Just 4. Texas only scored in the 4th, 6th, 8th, and 9th innings. 0 in every other one. And they dropped a 30 bomb. No one has done that since. These Rangers did it in 4 different turns at the plate. In the bottom half of the 9th, the Orioles' first 3 batters got out in one way or another, ending this historic game and putting it in the books as the highest scoring MLB game in history. In just 3 hours and 21 minutes somehow, for a game with 33 runs scored. 30 of them are only by one team, just to drive that point home. Since 1900, this is the most lopsided game in history. Don't you just wish Frank Fleming was a fan of one of these teams? Every Rangers starter had at least 2 hits and 2 RBI. 4 of them had 4 RBI or more. 3 guys had 4 hits or more. 2 of them had 7 RBI. Now, on the flip side of that, every Orioles pitcher gave up at least 6 runs and at least 1 home run. The best hit preventer, in terms of who gave up the fewest, gave up 5 hits and got 4 outs. I don't know how else to say this, but the Rangers had absolutely mollywopped the Orioles. Oh, and fun little side note, this loss started a 9-game loss streak for the Orioles. Woo, baseball! But I saved what I think might be the wildest fact about this game for last. Consider it a little treat for sticking around this long. Appreciate you. The Rangers used a guy named Wes Littleton as the pitcher for their final 3 innings of this game. He recorded a save. He finished his game having successfully protected a 27-run lead and got the same amount of credit as if he'd protected a 1-run lead. Let's give him a bit of credit though, boys. Come on, he saved the game. Woo! That came off as very sarcastic, but he genuinely did something pretty cool. Eat your heart out, Mariano Rivera. You had 652 saves and got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, but Wes Littleton has a save on the books for locking down a 27-run cushion. Stats are freaking cool. Baseball is freaking weird. Cut the mic. We can't top this one today. All right, let's wrap it up, boys. As always, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I love doing this. It's great. Follow me on Twitter if you want to do that. And again, shout out to the PST podcast. Those boys are funny as hell. Anyways, have a lovely day.